Have you wondered when you should leave your job and how? These are questions we all face at some point of our career. Hi, I'm Nandu, and welcome to my channel, Insights with Nandu, where we discuss these and many other such questions. Today we're going to talk about, should you leave your job? When should you leave your job? And how should you leave your job? The first thing to say here is, no matter which job you're in, quite often the grass is always greener on the other side. So first advice I would have to you is, particularly in today's world, which is so dynamic and disruptive, a job and work is a privilege. It's not a right. So value what you have patience, and work on all the steps that we discussed in episode 06 on how to get promoted. If that works and you're able to extend your career and build a career, that's great. If it doesn't, then this episode is for you. It's quite possible that there are days you wake up and you absolutely hate the thought of going to work, where going to work is becoming something that depresses you. You don't want to see those people again. Maybe there's people, maybe it's a situation, maybe it's the environment. So what should you do in a case like that? Well, let's try to break it down one by one. First, if there is a clash of values between what your employer wishes you to do and what your own personal values are, then don't think too long about it. The sooner you leave, the better. How to leave we'll talk about in a little while, but if it is a legal issue, then you should even alert the authorities about it. Second, if it's a difficult boss, and this is the largest category, most people don't leave the companies, they leave their boss. And it's possible, and it's happened in my life. I've had difficult bosses. The thing is, you need to assess within the company, is there a way you could get reassigned to actually work with another boss if you still empathize with the values of the company and the mission of the company? Could you get reassigned and work with a different boss? In life we don't always choose our bosses. Like our parents, we don't get to choose these people. So if you can get reassigned and work with a different boss, great. If not, then you have a choice. Either you change yourself and your attitude and find a way to work with the boss, or you leave the company. It's not a nice situation to be in, but it happens. Equally, you need to figure out, is your career path within your company blocked by a lot of long-serving incumbents, and you don't really see a career path? Well, I can understand that you would need to look for a job outside in a situation like that. One of the most important conditions in which you would need to look for a job outside is now with ongoing disruption. With so many startups and so many new technologies coming in to disrupt existing business models, keep an eye out. Is your industry being disrupted? Is your company being disrupted? If either of those things is happening, then it's better you preemptively look for alternatives for yourself. Because when companies get disrupted, inevitably one of the first things they do is that they redundant people. In all of these conditions, absolutely go out and look for a job, look for alternatives. How do you look for a job? How do you do alternatives? We'll talk about that in a subsequent episode. In general, do not resign from your company until you have a firm job offer in hand. because it makes a big difference when you go out and look for employment, whether you are actually employed or you are already in between jobs. Companies look at you very, very differently. Recruiters look at you very differently. So look outside by all means, but get a job in hand before you actually go out and resign. And when you resign, what is very important is the following. Leave with grace and dignity. Okay? Don't badmouth the company. Don't burn bridges when you leave the company. It's a small world. People talk to each other all the time, and you might meet and work with several of these people again at a future date in your career, either as a customer or as a supplier or even in the same organization. So leave with good grace. If you have invested your time in the organization, value the experience and the learnings that you have had. Thank people for those learnings, thank people for the opportunity, and move on in a way that leaves them with a smile as far as possible when they think about you. Now, the last thing, and possibly one of the most important, is this. When you leave, you're also going to be leaving the company, your job, your position, and your title. Remember, you are not your position. You are not your title. These are merely things that were occupied by somebody else before you and will be occupied by somebody else after you. You are not your job or your position or your title. You're not Miss Vice President. You're not Mr. Factory Manager or Mr. CEO. Yeah, you are something else. Those are roles that you are occupying. The day you leave the company, turn your back on those roles and walk away. You will find that there will be some people from the old organization or from the stakeholders around it, suppliers, agencies, etc., who will no longer look at you the same way or treat you the same way as they did when you were occupying that title. That's okay. That happens. And there are people like that. You will also find a lot of people who will value you for who you are rather than the title that you have. Those are the people who demonstrate character and integrity. Those are the people it is worth investing time and having them in your life because they value you for you and not for the position that you used to hold. So the day you step out of the job, leave that position behind you. You have a new role and you have a new path to tread, to create for yourself. I hope you found these guidelines useful, and we will talk more about other aspects of how to leave and how to look for a new job in the succeeding videos. I hope you found that useful and interesting. Now here's what I'd like you to do. If you liked the video, please click the like button. If there's something more you'd like to listen to or a point of view that you have, please engage, please leave a comment and I'll try and respond to it either directly or in future videos. And most importantly, if you liked the video or you found something relevant, please share it with your friends. Finally, please hit the subscribe button and also click the bell icon so you can get notifications whenever we post fresh videos. Thank you for being with us and help make this channel a success so together we can explore many new areas and grow intellectually together.